Hey, Sunny Banani, how you doing, lovely people? Welcome back to the Broke Cat Minded in a new space, in a new year. You know, as we get stuck into 2023, I only feel it's right that we reflect on 2022. Isn't this something that you should do at the end of the year? Yes. Why are you in a new space? Because that's how life works. Why are you starting to sweat? Because it is very hot currently at this time of year, and I can't have a fan on because it makes too much noise. So enjoy me beginning to sweat throughout this video. Lovely. No, but seriously, I am the type of person that likes to reflect and grow from there. And so what better things to do before we get stuck in fully into the new year than reflect? I realize this is coming towards the back end of Jan, but if you consider 2022 an extended leap year, then it has 13 months. And so actually 2023 hasn't really started yet. Respectfully. Anyway, I figured it'd be worthwhile thinking through some of the lessons that I've learned over this year, and I've jotted the 5 biggest ones. So here we go. Lesson number 1. Say yes to things even when you're unsure. I am very much somebody that doesn't like stepping out of my comfort zone. I've said it, I'm human. I like things to be in their bubble, and I like to be good at what I do inherently. I feel like I'm not crazy for saying that out loud. I feel like a lot of us are that way. Here's the thing though. You very rarely will get new experiences staying and doing the exact same thing you've been doing. I mean, I feel like that's a very obvious thing to say out loud, but not a very obvious thing to live and realize. And so what I've learned is this year, the moments where I've said, yes to things despite not having all the information have actually been some of the best times of my life. And if they haven't been the best, then I've learned a whole lot from it, which is in many sense just as valuable. And so what that culminates in is basically, because I'm the type that likes to have all the information before I say yes to things, I've learned actually, so long as it's not gonna, put you 6 feet under or leave you crippling in debt, say yes to things. And then you can figure out the rest after that. You know what I mean? You know you love it. Anyway, lesson number 2. Anything can be achieved with a plan. We all have goals, and some of those goals are grand and big, and some of those goals are simple, like, I don't know, skydiving. I don't know how skydiving feels as a simple goal, but hopefully you get what I mean by that. Anyway, what I've realized is that goals are very daunting. And part of what contributes to that daunting feeling is not having a plan that actually get from where you are now to where you want to be. Where you want to be being the end of the goal, of course, if you're following. However, what I've also found is the inverse is also true. That being that once I have a clear-cut plan laid out from how to get from here to wherever the goal is, actually that anxious feeling and that dauntingness kind of fade. I will also concede that there is also some of that feeling of, hey, I don't know how I'm going to find time to do everything that's listed in this plan, but that feels like a different conversation and something I kind of will talk about later. Hashtag spoilers. But what I've realized is that when I am feeling daunted by a task or anything, a good helpful step is actually to lay out everything that needs to be done, to develop a plan to achieving there. And then once all that is laid out, then it's just a matter of actually just engaging and getting the plan done. It's as one quote by some random epic person once said, a dream written down becomes a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and a plan backed by action becomes reality. So if there's something you want to do, list the things that have to be done to do it, and then just do it respectfully. Lesson number 3. If you really want something, you'll make time for it. Something that I've realized as I've gotten older is that there's a whole host of things vying for my time. Whether that's an ever demanding work life, the fun things I want to do, my quickly diminishing social life, or my commitments to even things like a church or, well, life in general, or even just cleaning and maintaining a house, right? I've realized that there are a lot more things that are vying for my time. What I've also realized though is that if I really want something, I always seem to find the time for it. whether that's working more efficiently with something else or saying no to something else to make time for that thing. What I found is that if I really want something, I will make the time for it, which is also a pretty indication of if I never make the time for that thing, then I probably don't value that thing or want that thing. Which is kind of scary to say out loud, but does actually kind of give you a bit of clarity into what you prioritize, or rather, what are you prioritizing in life. So yeah, if you really want something, you'll make the time for it. And what you make the time for ultimately are your priorities. No hate. This ain't a hate at anyone or anything. I'm just saying it'd be like that. Lesson number 4. Don't psych yourself out before you start. Simply make a start. This kind of feeds into lesson number 2 and lesson number 3. When I'm feeling daunted by something, I can very easily psych myself out. It's not helpful, obviously, because then, nothing gets done. Like, if you put me in the middle of a baseball field and say, you gotta hit a home run now, don't put me in the game. I'm out, probably, more than likely, right? I'm just being honest. It's also because I'm not sporty, so maybe this was a bad analogy. But the point is, I've realized that when I'm feeling daunted, I can psych myself out. And that, sometimes looks like making excuses for things, or dilly-dallying, or dropping the microphone. That also works. Anyway, what I've also realized is that in those moments, there's a lot of power in simply getting started. Sometimes the journey looks daunting because even though we have a plan, we think things like, how will I find the time to do this thing? Or this is too many steps, or it just is virtually impossible. Rather than psych myself out with these thoughts, I found it's better to actually just make a start. And then once I've made the start, then I actually have a true indication of how difficult something is, rather than my own psyching out preconceived, oh, this is going to take a long time, so therefore I'm not going to do it kind of thinking, So when in doubt, just make a start, and then you'll get the ball rolling. And lesson number 5, there's always more work to do, so you may as well learn to rest. There's a couple of things that just no one prepares you for in life, and one of those is the working world. And I think one of the big things that the working world has that is very different from everything else is that there's always going to be work to do. And that sounds kind of weird, but let me explain. See, when you're a student of any kind, there's, a lot of work, relative to where you are in life, but ultimately that there's an end point, right? At the start of a term or a semester, there are 3-4 assignments, and there's, 3 tests and 1 big exam, maybe 2 exams if your course or your subject is extra, right? But there's an end point, and that makes it easy to forward think and plan ahead. However, when it comes to work, there's just no end. I don't know how else to say it. There really is no end. I mean, look, if there is an end, then whatever company you're working for is going under, and actually you probably have bigger problems than, I'm not working. Actually, you know what? I'm not working is then your problem. And so, as you can see, I've circled back on myself because I'm epic. But yeah, there's no end to work. And the second thing is that there's no or very little given rest period. When you're like a student of any kind, whether that's school or university and varsity and college and all these lovely tertiary education places, you work hard and then you get a nice stint, a nice break, and then you work hard again, and then you get 3 months off depending on when your exams end. Which honestly sounds bonkers to say out loud, but still is kind of the reality, right? But when you're working, you probably just get like 21 days max as you're starting, probably maybe even 15. So there's no set rest period. You don't get a nice long downtime. And what these 2 points culminate in is that there's always going to be work, but if you're not careful and you don't rest, then you won't rest. And what I have found is that I have very rarely regretted resting. And that's because work is always there. there's always something to do. There's always more that can be done, but there's very rarely a time for rest. And so what I've realized is that if you have the moment to rest, you may as well rest, because the work will still be there when you get back. Don't sacrifice your rest for the sake of working more. And look, this is not me jabbing at like jobs or anything. This applies to entrepreneurs as well, right? There's always more to do. So if you get the chance to rest, you may as well rest. Whatever that rest looks like for you, well, I'll leave that to you, respectfully. And there we go. That's my 5 big lessons of the year. Thank you for joining me in 2022, and I guess now in 2023, because given when this video is going up, you know what I mean? I didn't get all the timings right on this, okay? It was a weird December. You know, I moved, then I went home, then I came back, and then I unpacked, and then I've still unpacked, and now that's why we're here. But everything is functioning, as you can see, because you're seeing this video. You know, I'm just rambling, so I just want to say thank you. And stick around, there's quite a lot to come. And I realize this might be the first video that you're seeing of me, so here is a montage of what has happened over this year. Roll the clip. Hey. How you doing? I mean, I imagine not well, given that you're missing. Whoa! Are you alone? I better be. Ooh. Hopefully none of you are scared of the dark, and if you are, then congratulations, we're now officially friends. Ha 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 ha, send help. Ha ha ha. If you get in this boat, I am not gonna be happy. I don't do horror games. Who are you actually? Where are you? Where are you? You're wrong, I hope that's not poop. Oh, it's poop, isn't it? Oh. Keluchu. Okay, I'll just walk onto the path that clearly is marked for death. Rule number 32. Lie when in danger. Now I'm gonna lie, this is now kind of intense. Oh, did you see the hand on the side of the door? Oh my, the window. Still blocked. How do you not see me? So please go back out there and make mommy proud. I'm fine with being a disappointment. I don't want to lie to you, mom. There is nothing behind you. Are you telling me? Hey, ghosts. Don't be like that, man. Yeah. So if that's your cup of tea, stick around. I've got quite a bit planned. Some new forms of content. Some additional stuff coming. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so you know when the next one goes live. Remember, there's only one of you in this world, and this world needs you. So look after yourselves. And remember, this year is going to be whatever you make of it. So if you get at the end of 2023 and you're like, man, nothing happened, it's because you made nothing happen. For the most part. You know, there's no pressure here, but you know, there's pressure. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Ciao!